Good morning. I'm just going to go like this. What day is it? It's Thursday. I think it's Thursday. Maybe. Remember how I said come Wednesday, I'm not going to want to do this anymore. My routine. Well, it wasn't Wednesday morning like usual. It was yesterday evening was when it started. Because I got home and I was like, gosh, I just feel like falling over. And I literally, I laid down for a second. And I was like, come on, you gotta go. You gotta get this stuff done. And I made progress and it was exciting. But it was a struggle for a minute. And this is your reminder, again, that it is not going to be easy. It's going to be a struggle. And I gotta hurry because I'm late again. We gotta be quick. I feel like I gotta blow my nose. I know, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful stuff. It's always a fun routine in the morning. But anyway, it's not going to be easy. If you haven't learned that yet, I don't know what you've been doing. And the amazing thing is we could really sit and do nothing, or we could do the bare minimum. And I think a lot of people do that. I know I've done that before. Just struggling, Because there's seasons. I was thinking about this yesterday evening, that there's seasons in our lives that even the little simple basic task of life are hard. Hard to do. Like if you're in, because I've had these seasons, I'm sure just like you have, even in seasons of depression and grief, it's hard to take a shower. And what's amazing and what helps us and builds us is those times where we have to keep going anyway. I had a season to where it was during the worst time of my life so far, and I sure hope that I don't ever, get down to that kind of place again. But I was in the worst season of my life, and I had this time during that, because it lasted before this and after this, but during that, in the middle of that, I had a bit of time to where I slept behind a little partition wall in the back corner of my business. Oh no, it's broke up. And I had room for a little small single bed. At first it started out with an air mattress. I slept on those for a while. Probably at least a year. And then I slept on a little single bed. But I had room for that little single bed. Really didn't have room for it, but had room for that little single bed. And I set me up a little TV. And I had my clothes in laundry baskets. I would take them to the laundromat in trash bags. I would bring them back and I'd fold them up and I would stack them in order, all my outfits, to where I could just get them out of that basket and I could go. I didn't have a shower. You know, I bathed out of the sink, and I did that for probably 2 years. But I had to get up and keep going anyway. And for the most part, thank God, for the most part, I done all right. I only had maybe 2 or 3 moments to where I felt, and I'm sure you've been there and you felt it before, but I felt like just crushing, like I was being crushed under the weight of it, and I was like, what am I going to do? And I felt like I was about to panic, because I was like, I'm trying every way in the world, you know, because I was trying so hard to do better and to find a place to live. And that's a whole nother thing. Another story for another time when I got more time. But I was trying every way in the world, and I was like, God, I just don't get it. What do I need to do? You know, and of course, time went on, and now I see some things that I didn't then. But I had to get up and work my business. At that time, that was all I had, and I was struggling, fighting tooth and nail just to keep the doors open. And now I'm back to work full time, you know, and it all happened at one time. God dropped in my lap somewhere to live and a job on top of my business and all these things at one time. Like, everything just changed, and that's usually how it goes. Everything will happen at one time. But I had to get up, and I had to go. Why are we talking about this today? This is not something I talk about very often, but it was a really hard season, and I had to get up, and I had to go anyway. I had to open my business. I had to keep going. And, you know, I think the reason why I'm thinking about this, or what's got me on this, is I saw a thing yesterday. And it said, it was like a little picture, like a little meme, and it said, when you're struggling really, really bad and you show up anyway, welcome to the 1%. And I shared it and I said, I'm proud of us, because, you know, there's been moments where I could have just sat down and quit. And was really struggling, and mentally was just at capacity with things, you know, and was trying so hard and felt like I wasn't getting nowhere. Literally felt stuck. I know I gotta go. And I showed up anyway, but to be honest with you, I felt like I didn't have a choice. I had to keep going. There was literally no room whatsoever to let up. Like, how was I going to eat? You know, and this was during a time that didn't have a stove. And it just started pouring the rain. I love the rain, but can we do the rain while I'm sleeping, not when I got to go to work? I'm running late. Because you got to drive slower when it's raining. Well, you should. You should. Anyways. But, where was I even at? I felt like I didn't have a choice. I had to keep going. And this was during that time. I didn't have a stove. I was using a microwave. My mom had bought me like a year or two before this an air fryer. I hadn't even took it out of the box. I got that out of storage. Took it out of the box. I was using that. I bought one of them little stove eyes you plug in. And that's what I was doing. I was trying to survive. And I was trying to figure out how to keep my business open. And how to eat and all this stuff. And I mean, this is this is not a nice, pretty moment, you know, of my life. But it was one of those moments, you know, of, like I mentioned earlier, this is building the story, you know, because I wasn't willing to give up on my business. I still ain't going to, as long as I got breath in my body. God help me. I'm not. But this was an ugly time, an ugly moment. And it didn't matter. Like, I had no choice. I had to keep going. Which we can quit. I mean, you can quit. That's what you want to do. Make the decision and make the choice. Walk away. You can. But to what end? And the point is, there's going to be some really hard moments. It's going to be moments when you just don't see how you're going to make it. There's going to be moments when people you thought you could trust and count on is going to turn out to not be such. There's going to be places and people and things and jobs that you got to walk away from. There's hard moments in life. And there's times when you're not going to understand. Because we can look at other people's lives, and I've said this before. Because I've had, you know, times, long journeys when I've been worried about people and tried to help them and things, and I've thought, you don't understand what they're going through. You don't understand what they're thinking. You don't understand their perception, and our perception is our reality in our minds, you know, and they could be doing the best that they absolutely can, and there's no other option. I mean, you don't know their story and their journey and God's purpose for them. Because we can want to help people all day long and completely have it wrong as to what God's doing in their life and what God wants for them. And what we want for them ain't what's good and best. What God wants is. And we can try to mess with that, get in the way and everything else, and get ourselves in trouble. But anyway, we can look at people and think, God, what are they doing? And I know there was people, which I didn't tell nobody till after the fact. I only talked to very, very few people knew what was going on. And, which was my mom, you know. But you don't know somebody's story and what they're going through. They could literally be fighting to survive, and you just don't know. And they're doing the best they can, because I can speak from experience. I was doing everything that I could do, that I knew to do, trying to make it, and it's like nothing was working. And it's like I had to live out that bad season, which I'm thankful now that I made it. Shoot, them times and them seasons where you're like, man, I'm a lot stronger than I thought I was, because you just keep making it, and it's hard things. And of course I got all kinds of stories. I'm sure like you do too. But we just keep making it. We just keep going. And you realize you got strength and you can keep going. And I guess that's this week's thing. I mentioned the other day about, it might have been yesterday, we've always got more in us. I think I got glitter in my coffee. Got me a big old bite of mushroom. It's rye, it's the powder, but it wasn't fully dissolved. Don't worry, my espresso's in there too. I ain't doing exactly like they're saying, but I gotta have my coffee. Anywho, you're gonna have hard moments. And that might be where you're at right now, I don't know. But listen, you will come out of it. It will get better. So, Mom, it will get better. You will make it. When you feel that pressure coming down and you feel like you're about to panic, breathe through. Say, I'm going to make it like I've always made it. Because you will, and you have to keep going. Because what are you going to do if you quit? It ain't going to get better. Keep going. You're stronger than you think you are. Y'all have a good day.